Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Q&A Cafe. We have a very, very special session today. This is our e-commerce overview in SAP BusinessOne with Focus Point. We have on the line Craig, Frank, James, and Charles. They are the leadership over at Focus Point, and we are so excited to have them on board. As always, I'm Catherine. I am your facilitator. Today's session will be recorded, so please make sure that you keep yourselves on mute as we go through the session. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the questions or chat drop downs, and we'll get to them towards the end of the webinar. Just a quick reminder that we do have our other Q&A Cafe next week. That's going to be top tools and enhancements in SAP Business by Design on the 29th. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Craig.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I appreciate it. I'm Craig Stockmel. I'm from Focus Point, and I have my team on the call with us today. Honored to be part of VistaVu's Q&A Cafe, and just wanted to share with you our solution for SAP BusinessOne. We spent a lot of time and effort over the last 7 years developing an e-commerce solution specifically for SAP BusinessOne's global customer base. We felt it was an unmet need in this marketplace. There's 75,000 global SAP BusinessOne customers, and we wanted to provide a cost-effective solution that is highly integrated and highly configurable for your SAP BusinessOne ERP solution. So today, we're going to talk about the e-commerce, the functionality it brings to you, as well as our integration. And the key thing about the integration is that the integration is complete and it's already done for you if you have SAP BusinessOne. And when we deploy our solution, we configure it to your business. So it allows us to compress the time frame to get your solution deployed, as well as having you be able to grow your business quickly and continue to develop your e-commerce solution to match your business requirements without additional cost. So what our e-commerce solution just briefly does is it on the same platform, we do both B2B and B2C, and many of our customers also use it as an employee/inside sales portal so that you have a full insight into your SAP BusinessOne database. And I'm going to turn it over to Charles, who's going to give you an overview of the functionality that our customers use. We have a global customer base. And then Frank will give you a brief overview of our SAP integration so you understand how we can bring your SAP footprint to the web so that you can grow your business. So I'll turn it over to Charles. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. All right, nice to be chatting with everybody today. So, Focus Point follows SAP B1 roadmap very closely. And the goal, of course, is to offer fantastic features, enterprise-grade features, at an affordable rate, and time to market, be the fastest as a means to offer configuration instead of customization with no sacrifice of any very cool functionality you might see on like Shopify Plus or Magento Enterprise, any of these really high level features, to actually just bring them all into one central e-commerce portal. Primarily just the SAP B1 landscape serves a lot of B2B type customers, but we definitely do B2C as well. So we'll start off just a quick rundown of what a B2C site might look like. So first and foremost, the look and feel, it's really to the stretch of your imagination. All right, so it's all about getting the content in your SAP B1 database out live on the internet so that you can present this to your customers and maintain that catalog and configure and manage everything right out of your item master. You spent years, you've invested in SAP B1, your people are trained in as users of SAP B1, and the administration side of Focus Point is SAP B1. So you'll be working right in your item master, your price lists, all the stuff that you've done on a day-to-day basis for the last many years in your SAP environment, and not have to work with any kind of clunky back end or anything like that to have your e-commerce power. You make a change in an item, say you change a price, you change a description, you do anything in SAP B1, and it's instantly available on the web. So imageries, those kind of things. I mean, some people will have some repositories already set up in SAP. If you don't, we have them available on the web. So you can just store images there. There's a few things kind of optional like that. And you have a very wide range of control over the look and feel. So here with a B2C site, they tend to be a little more rich in UI, a little more interactive, more pictorial type thing. Perhaps you might even include some YouTube videos. The goal of a B2C site is to really attract and retain the attention of the consumer. You're looking for highest level of conversion, which means that you're trying to get those customers to the product in the least amount of clicks. And there's really, many ways that Focus Point facilitates best-in-class techniques, starting with our full integration into things like, Google pay-per-click, all the way to, integration of Google Analytics, enterprise search right off any place in the actual store. People are looking for that Amazon level experience. So you go on Amazon, again, it's supposed to be a nice breadcrumb, a nice yellow brick road to your product, and it often starts at the site search. So we have a very robust algorithm that is ever learning. It's basically a learning type search. So the more conversions that happen on the store search will higher rank later in time. And then of course we have a navigation, and again, B2C, let's get these customers to the product in the least amount of clicks and get them through the checkout while upselling them in the process without being too distracted. So a lot of our design team focuses around that effort, all right? And we have some kind of recommended templates that we have. So basically a lot of people can just hit the ground running with one of our kind of pre-configured site templates, but you're free to make any modifications that you want. All of our templates are done mobile first, all right? So in the B2C environment, it's like 90% now. It's very, very high. So our themes are all rendered in mobile first, designed in mobile first, then tablet, then desktop, then 4K. And sometimes we even have some resolutions in the middle. So right out of the box, you're able to support any look and feel for any device, and it's going to look great. We have an e-commerce profile in SAP B1. We know that, as an ERP, it's fantastic for running your business and financials and all that type of stuff. But on the website, we need to put some nomenclature that's a little more clear, a little more, let's call it Google friendly for searching, have some very kind of flashy ways to show color, size, different variations, perhaps, multiple images and these kind of things. Maybe even show a little bit about stock on B2C. Not typical to show how many's in stock, but to show that the item's in stock, not on back order. Especially with the last, really the last year or so, we're seeing a lot of different shortages in different areas. So it's kind of a good thing to do. All your standard, best-in-class checkouts in terms of one-page checkout, all that type of information is easily done. And just to be clear too, on the payment and the shipping, we support just about every payment and shipping provider out there that's popular already. So our current list of payment providers we support is right now over 110. We serve all across the world at this point. Just in North America, for example, all your main ones, your Authorize.net, your PayPals, your Squares, your Moneris, Century Business Solution, the list goes on and on and on. They're all supported, right? And it's very common to incorporate different kind of workflows. We're about to transition into B2B. It's very common to have both authorize and capture, or a mix between the two, depending on what kind of experience you're looking to have, and if you're deferring shipping to later and those kind of things. So that's just a kind of a quick look at B2C. Everything from blogs, social media enablement, all those kind of things that are potentially a premium elsewhere are going to be just kind of standard out of the box with Focus Point. Okay, so let's talk a little bit now about B2B. So in the B2B landscape, You're looking to incorporate as many kind of B2C features as you can because you want to harness the principles of B2C, the principles of that Amazon experience, but deliver it into your B2B audience. And there's many types of B2B audiences. Some are going to have some pre-configured order paths. You're still going to want to do some upselling to some of your business partners as well. And if they're distributors or they're buying on behalf of other people, there could be a wide range of different kind of things that you might have to encounter or handle. So here, this is RAM Products. I often use this as a great demonstration of a B2B. They're advertising to the logged in user. So your business partners in SAP is your customers on Focus Point. And the context of those business partners are the logged in users. And oftentimes we have, for customers, we have employees or sales reps oftentimes, and they could be both inside sales rep or external sales rep. And they have different permissions to buy for different business partners. So, and that often is called our employee dashboard. So we can support all those kind of variations here. So the way I'm logged in right now is actually a customer, and my customer exists on, I'm a contact on 2 different business partners in SAP B1. We support a cart for each business partner that you're on. So if I'm going through as this Nikki individual, I can go through and make purchases. I have this web navigation, and again, web category navigation. It's not a native component of SAP B1. So part of our solution is to provide you with some user-defined objects, which Frank will go through in a little bit and show you what some of that looks like, to create that e-commerce profile in SAP. And one of them, of course, is web categories, because you want to almost make this like a department store where you walk in and everything's well categorized. You can almost walk right to your product. Again, even in B2B, you're trying to get the buyer to the end in the least amount of clicks. So, so again, I can switch between my business partners. Everything that you see goes through a security filter. So if I want to not show this banner, or I want to upsell or just deal differently depending on who's logged in, there's a whole security framework behind this that allows that to happen, all right? And it's tied in with our content management system. So if I want to target special messaging for a group of business partners or a set of criteria, business partners that are on terms, or business partners that have a certain amount of credit, or those kind of things, endless possibilities. Basically, I can target content. Okay, so in here now, I'm just going to show you the order portal. So one thing is, of course, to make purchases and all that kind of stuff. And the other part is all around the self-serve components, right? So Focus Point and SAP B1 are considered, one cohesive solution. So there's no real difference between a web order and an SAP order that, say, comes from some kind of point of sale device. You can see everything in SAP from Focus Point, regardless of its origin. So here I can pop into my order history, and I can expand this out, and I can reorder off of previous orders. It's all real time. If SAP is down for whatever reason, it'll use the last cached value. If there's some kind of maintenance window going with SAP, right? So your users are going to be none the wiser. They'll see the last information that is available, because we are sitting out on Microsoft Azure as a software as a service, right? So it's looking for that SAP connection to supply its information. However, if there's some kind of internet connectivity error or your SAP service is down, things just keep on queuing and business as usual as soon as connection is reestablished. So orders, invoices, deliveries, quotes, returns, credit notes. In addition, we offer full service call management as well. So we have a lot of people in the manufacturing world that go ahead and do that. The most important aspects here, though, is full visibility and transparency around invoicing here, and so they can actually pay on these invoices and view them. So inside Crystal Reports, which is the engine used in SAP B1. You have these pretty print reports, and these are available right from the download here on the portal. So basically, it's all reusable types of information. And the fact that there's a $210.95 balance, I get a Pay Now button. So I click that Pay Now button. It's going to present me a billing screen, because I could use a credit card, for example, that has a different billing address, not necessarily than the one on file. And I can make a payment, and I can change this to be a partial payment. So I'm not ready to pay on the whole invoice. I just need to make a payment. So I could move this down from $210.95 to something that I could pay right now. Okay, and deliveries, quotes, returns, all these things follow the same kind of formula. There's an important aspect though, just like on Amazon, you get an email for everything. So when you create a delivery note in SAP, or let's say you have a shipping integration and there's a tracking number added or a shipping note is created, not only does it show up here in the portal, but it also goes out through the standard email communication or text. So basically the buyer will get a notification when the order has been shipped, paid, anything you like. It's all configurable. So with that, I'm going to just take a look at another kind of B2B portal, just to kind of show you the different kind of range of possibilities. So this is another one here. These folks are into bikes and those kind of things. They sell everything kind of bikes. It's a good business to be in for sure. So they do product highlights depending on who's logged in. So these lists look dramatically different. They're using basically adaptive technology that's looking kind of like related products, but it's actually looking in the buying profile history of the logged in user to determine if, and basically there's a higher degree of margin, I'm going to buy these products over others. So our engine is basically adapting the product spotlight based on what I think I might buy next, based on what I've already purchased over the last year or what have you. And they have multiple warehouses. So as you can expect in the bike industry, things are pretty rocking right now with kind of the post-COVID thing. So a lot of outdoor type activity. So they're showing not only the stock, but also the, let's call it available to promise, right? So if I look into a typical category here, I can see both, in this case, IL stands for Illinois and V for Nevada. I can see all the different quantities. So as, say, a bike dealer, I know basically, when my product, I can get it, when it might be available. Here's an example here. This is a test system here, so the dates are going to be in the past, but 16 is going to be available in September 8th, right? If I want to pull out of this warehouse. This is important because we have, as we're completely integrated with SAP V1, we have access and knowledge of everything going on in the warehouses and quantities. So showing the available to promise is now very easy. And also when somebody places an order and it's going to be possibly coming from 2 different warehouses in order to fill, we can display different messaging, show them different rates, make recommendations, those kind of things. So you have very, very tight control over your distribution at the portal level. And typically that's only been possible to do within your ERP. So we expose all that type of features. And that's another good way to look at Focus Point. Focus Point is a platform. It doesn't just integrate data. That's not what the real benefit is. Yes, it integrates all the data to and from SAP B1, but more importantly, it integrates the workflows and the business processes that are in place. So things like when I place an order, I'm supposed to use my default warehouse that's assigned to my business partner in SAP V1, unless my default warehouse doesn't have the quantity available, but an alternate warehouse does. And then on the sales order, I'll put that warehouse code on the sales line, even though it's not my default. That would be an example of what these guys do, which is just configuration, no customization, and that's a way to enable a workflow. We have some that work on registration. We want to have people sign up. We're going to delegate certain customers as admin contacts because we can't keep track of all the employees that are customers. But some of these employees want access to the portal, which means that they have to become contacts in SAP B1, but it's too much administration to have somebody go into SAP and actually approve them or set them up. So our workflows allow for these web e-forms to basically accept that for you on their behalf. So you can put those in and they're gonna automatically go in as an actual contact already validated and effectively, making it self-serve. Our sites, of course, are multi-site basically. So you can mix and match. So you can mix a B2B site and a B2C site. So Nella Cutlery, for example, they're in the kitchen type industry. So they're going to highlight different popular freezers, fridges, those kind of things. Interesting thing here, where they're competing against some of the other channels, we can scratch out prices under certain conditions until it gets to the cart, right? So it can respect rules. If you have certain price rules set up on Amazon or Costco under certain products, you can enforce those rules as well. And speaking of Amazon, Focus Point is meant to be the central kind of web channel, the gateway of everything on the internet for all those sales channels. So it's encouraged actually to use third-party resellers like Amazon, Walmart Shopping Center, eBay, all those types of things. Costco, Commerce Hub. Effectively, we sync all the inventory with these third-party systems, and Focus Point is completely in lockstep with SAP B1, so it allows us to facilitate the order fulfillment from these third-party sales channels, right? Taking some of that complexity away. And this is just another kind of good example of the site, just to kind of show what the art of possible is. Again, it's all about showcasing the products and those kind of things. Now, I mentioned earlier that it's great that the web navigation is very easy, but sometimes people just want their standard old order pad, right? Look, I just got an order pad. I just need something basic, and we have that, of course, too. So these are like a sample order pad where I can come in, I can see all my ranked products that are available. So this can come from one of my standard order sheets, or it can just be some pre-configured list that I have. And I can still see all the stock information. And I have to have, I'm getting my prices from SAP B1, so my test business partner has prices on some things. But more importantly, it's showing here that the unit of measure differences. So I can see that I have a price for each versus pack, or I have to buy this in multiples of 50. So I can just start filling out, my numbers. Again, it's a standard order pad, but it's like one of those things you just have to have in a good e-commerce. So here I can try to order 51. Everything's going to be kind of enforced. I can put additional information. It's encouraged to kind of put, video content, all those kind of things when you're looking over a specific product, especially if you're trying to track new business, basically, just because those kind of things rank very well in the search engines. And these order pads are completely reusable. So you can fill them up, store them. It even works just like a multi-cart kind of concept where these things can be scheduled. So if you have regular reoccurring orders, then they can queue up, send a reminder. Are you ready to send this? This is, it's been 30 days. And then of course, we actually support a full-blown subscription model as well, right? So we can support those type of businesses. We're always evolving. Just before we go off onto the SAP side, where the Focus Point e-commerce side is always going to be on the leading edge. We're always looking at, predictive modeling, how to push the envelope and stay current. So when you're on Focus Point, you can be rest assured that you're going to be on some of the most leading edge technology that's out there. We're definitely into the Internet of Things, predictive order recommendations, all those type of things. And we will continue to follow the SAP B1 roadmap. So as you upgrade from SAP, say 9.3 to 10, SQL or HANA, it's all fine. They're basically non-events. You don't have to worry about trying to figure out an e-commerce upgrade when you upgrade your SAP V1. It's a more or less a non-event, and we do it all the time. It's kind of business as usual.
What you see here is actually what Charles, and this was a nice lead-in, is with this powerful integration tool, just wanted to make clear that within the SAP ecosystem, that makes us industry agnostic. Just Charles showed the additional field mapping, and I'll show you quickly the industry examples which we have. A mill providing ingredients for a brewery. So these are all of our customers. They comes with the commodity trading specific requirements, right? They have compliance issue restrictions, all sorts of things. The brewery. Here you see an equipment manufacturer building dedicated mills for the mills here in a sense, and they have service management requirements, my services, part shop, all of it. And last but least, I want to show you another type of a service provider, a third-party logistic provider, where on behalf of the mills, aluminum mills, they actually manage their inventory and release it to the car manufacturers as they see needed. So ultimately then, what I'm going to focus on in my demonstration is actually one of our customers who combines B2B and B2C. And Charles actually mentioned a very nice kind of intro about us being agnostic in a sense. So I just want to make sure, team, do you see that slide real quick? So in a sense, what we're having here is how Focus Point integrates multi-channel B2B, B2C into one channel, communicating with SAP BusinessOne in addition to support traditional sales channels. How do we do this? And what I wanted to show is the websites here are the B2C, B2C, B2B website, and that is actually what I want to do. This is the B2B website. So how do we do this in SAP? And bringing it up here is actually, Charles showed the additional field mapping, what makes us agnostic to everybody. As Charles quickly touched on it on his website, you actually saw that on Focus Point, you have these, what we call Focus Point additional field mapping or maps. So he sends us files from Focus Point, or not he, Focus Point sends us files, SAP receives them, and we map them. We map them, we determine if we receive something from Focus Point or if we send something up from SAP to Focus Point. We actually have the ability, as you can see, to execute stored procedures. Don't want to go into this, but with this type of tool and any object related to an order fulfillment and process, right? Order management or order fulfillment, we have the ability to either send data or receive data at any given point of time in the order fulfillment process. We have the capability of doing geolocations, route optimizations, different tags. We support AVA tags or traditional sales tax determination in SAP. So that is one aspect why we can be industry agnostic in the field level. Another one, and Charles touches on, and I want to bring that, is our e-commerce profile. Unfortunately, we left it not up to the marketing department to name these type of fields, right? We call it Focus Point Item Config, but it is actually what we would call, it's the e-commerce profile. What does it do? It determines the look and feel on how you actually show a product on the website. So I'll take bottom T rubber, for instance, as one, which is actually a product which we call a style. What do I mean by that? A style actually has multiple aspects of what is my size, what is my length, what is my color, and you have certain drop downs in order to get to the final SKU. So in this case, what it has, and I prepared an item list for you in a sense of, let's do this here, list of items. And here you can see all of these SKUs belong to the style. So how do we do this individually to actually show that we get from a single SKU to, right? How do we configure this? So what we have is actually, if I bring this up, this product called bottom T rubber. That is a type, it's a style of weather seal, which actually right has different options or different variances. They can sell it by the reel or by foot, and it has a certain width, 3-inch and stuff. Now our system here, we determined the final SKU, and it says $1.02. We see several pictures to the left. We have an overview screen here. We see related products which are part of this, right? If you buy seal, you may want to buy aluminum bottom seal retainer or things like that. How do we do this? So in SAP, our profile contains as follows. The style, the bottom T rubber, you may recall we have seen multiple related products are set up in SAP. And if we go back to this, you will actually quickly see that these items show up here. If we go back then and look at the images, here we have the ability to retrieve from anywhere right within SAP. Outside of, if you have a content management system, we have the ability to pull wherever these images are into this. And these images then are being populated in SAP right here to the left. Now, the setup then is done as followed. How do I combine now these multiple SKUs onto this page via dropdown? We actually, our solution is so deeply integrated that, as you can see here, I selected a product, which is one, and let's open up its e-commerce profile. It belongs to the style here, that's association. But how do we do this? Now in SAP, you actually go ahead and this item, the e-commerce profile, has two attributes. One is called the width, the other one is called the reel versus foot. So then, as we can see, the values on to be shown on the web is 3-inch or sold by the foot. And if we remember correctly, we have sold by the foot and the width of 3 inches, which then, if we look at the SKU, once a customer selects that, adds it to the cart, Focus Point has that information, pulls the SAP SKU, and automatically determines the price, and that is basically it. And this is on a high level how you actually have the ability, besides influencing the order management process, geolocation determination. Just wanted to give you a quick sense on how you can expose your products from SAP nicely onto Focus Point. Certain pain points which we experience, which other solution providers have difficulties with, is the geolocation of products when it comes in, the enrichment of data. We have the ability to execute stored procedures through FP additional field mapping here as well. So oops, sorry, incoming orders from B2C, apologize. We have the ability to, with this kind of a setup, from Focus Point into SAP to accommodate every business requirement or every industry requirements. In the beginning, I mentioned, and I want to say, we had the commodity trading business where they have special inventory requirements. They have blanket agreements, which we did. We talked about heavy machinery with service calls, and we have a third-party logistic provider not owning any kind of inventory, but just managing on behalf of their aluminum mills, their inventory, providing additional services, value-added services to it, and then sending it to the auto industry, to the car manufacturer for further processing. And in a nutshell, I wanted to share our capabilities with you and summarize it. And I want to hand it back to you for questions and answers.
Great. Thank you so much, Frank. That's fantastic. All right, so we have a question about metrics. What kind of metrics do you cover with Focus Point? Is it within Focus Point itself, or do you use a separate tool?
I was going to say, depends on the type of metrics. So we do integrate, like with obviously Google Analytics for on-site analytics, but we do work with a lot of actually like analytics engines. So Power BI under a Microsoft Office 365 subscription. That's our standard one that we use for predictive modeling and doing more kind of heavy analytics. So we have both on-site with Google Analytics and then aggregations and predictive modeling with Power BI.
And again, this may have already been answered. This may be an older question here, but always good to review. What's your average time to implement for Focus Point, or does it change depending on the platform that you're integrating with?
Well, okay. So the main factor is that there's kind of two answers. What industry are you in, and how ready is your database? As we know, the whole item master is used to power the e-commerce site, right? So if your price lists are well organized, you have good metadata in SAP, it can be really quick. That's really the kind of master data management is always the indicator of how long a project's going to take. If you have products like apparel, complex apparel, where there's multiple like different kind of sizes, or you have some assistance tools like Argentis or something like that, that could speed things up. They'll be that kind of guide. The quick answer is we've done everything from 5 weeks to kind of 4 months. And depending on the readiness that you have in your data, and really that comes down to the types of industry, that's a general gauge. Now, it's a pretty kind of wide gauge, but someone come to market with some cleaning supplies, which is like a one-to-one SKU, couple pictures, pretty standard price list, versus a customer coming with 90,000 SKUs with various colors, sizes, and fits, and those kind of things, with complex special business partner pricing and those kind of things. Those are the ones that can take, up to 3 months or so.
Okay, makes sense. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I don't see any other questions here, so I think we can end it there. If you do have any other questions for our attendees, or if you're listening to the recording, please feel free to reach out to us at VistaVu. Focus Point is a treasure partner here, so we'll make sure that a question gets to them. I just want to say a huge thank you to Craig, Charles, Frank, James, and Shannon for being on today's webinar. Again, please don't forget to join us next week. That's going to be on the 29th for our next Q&A Café. Fantastic overview into Focus Point, and we look forward to seeing more in the future. Thanks so much, you guys.